Right now at noon, protests in Pittsburgh. Southeast Kansas residents protested in Trump's immigration policies and mass deportations.
We've got a warm and windy day in store for us. Some cooler weather on the way, though, and rain chances. We'll talk about all that in that forecast coming up.
Plus, the Joplin Public Library kicks off Black History Month with a community fair.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Crawford County Democrats organized a protest yesterday in relation to President Donald Trump's plan for mass deportation. Demonstrators came by the hundreds to exercise their right to protest. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
Energizing, invigorating, hopeful, optimistic are the words that just immediately come to mind. As you can hear, as you can see.
Recent actions by President Donald Trump regarding immigration policy have sparked unrest and protests all over the country. Pittsburgh, Kansas is no exception. Organized by the Crawford County Democrats, a protest began at the intersection of 4th Street and Broadway.
So Wednesday we organized. It was super ad hoc, impromptu get together to happen Wednesday night, and there was a massive show of support. Over 200 people came and chanted. We talked about the kind of changes that we'd like to see in our society, and really just getting together and showing solidarity for the immigrant population here in Pittsburgh.
Protesters started marching down Broadway, chanting and shouting their beliefs to passing cars and pedestrians. Soon after, counter-protesters began to drive by and claim a spot across the street. One counter-protester, vice president of the Pittsburgh State College Republicans, explained why they showed up to make their voices heard as well.
These kind of protests, I just believe, are fighting against our system that we have in place here. We have always been accepting of immigrants. We've always been wanting people to come into the country the legal way. And when you have people protesting the idea that you can come in here illegally and take American jobs in manufacturing and agriculture, I just don't think that's fair to its citizens, whether they're immigrants or not, born in the United States. Doesn't matter.
Police were on scene to make sure things stayed under control. And although there were moments of tension, there were no outbreaks of violence. In Pittsburgh, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Now, to find out more about yesterday's protest, you can visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent day. Had a fairly mild start for most of us this morning, and that will be the trend for the rest of today. Quick look from earlier this morning, downtown Pittsburgh, our camera there. Just a few clouds here and there to start the day, but those clouds on their way out. Same from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. We started yesterday at 39. You can see where our average low is supposed to be. Made it up to 69. You can see where that compares to average. Not quite to record status, but getting pretty close, and some of us may be fairly close to record status as we go through today, with those temperatures reaching into the low 70s in some cases. You can see this line here is where our average high is supposed to be, and you can see where these temperatures are going to be and the little bounce they're going to do as we head into tomorrow as well, with a cold front that's going to push through tonight. Right now it's a stationary front just off to our northwest. It's going to start rolling through in the next hour or so. So winds will shift out of the northwest behind that. Won't make it, the temperatures will not plummet today, but it will be colder tonight, but it'll take a second to get there. So clear skies continue up through about 11 o'clock. Temperatures down to the upper 40s by 11, and then clouds increase after midnight, and eventually we're looking at lows falling back to right around 40 tonight, which means we'll be cooler tomorrow as well, and we have those rain chances tomorrow, and we'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast. That's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, February is Black History Month, and the Joplin Public Library hosted its Black History Fair. Now, this year's guest presenter was Kenya Ajanaku, a storyteller and drummer who specializes in the folklore of Africa. The library also set up tables with reading recommendations, and booths were set up for the Joplin NAACP, George Washington Carver National Monument, Easttown Dreams District, and more.
I think it's good for me that it brings the community together and it gives people a chance to be educated about something that they may not know a lot about. and I like the community aspect of it because people just come together.
This marks the 5th time that the Joplin Public Library has held a Black History Fair. An ArtCon was held at the Neosho Junior High School Saturday. The convention revolves around all things pop culture like movies, video games, and more. Vendor booths were set up in the gymnasium and panels were scheduled throughout the day with different guests. And one of the main reasons that this convention is very successful is because of like-minded fans that dress up as their favorite characters.
I've made a lot of friends at all of the cons that I've been to, and I really enjoy that, and I wish I could have more of that in my daily life. So this is really nice to be able to come out here and be with people who have similar interests.
One of the guests at the convention was Tony Amendola, who is famous for his roles in Stargate and Once Upon a Time. Coming up, pharmacists across the 4 states are asking legislatures to take action against major companies controlling the drug market. And later, we're making buttermilk carrot cake in the Mr. Fu test kitchen. Well, pharmacists in the 4 states say their livelihoods are at risk as major companies take more control of the drug market. Now, they're warning that pharmacy benefit managers, better known as PBMs, have an unfair advantage when it comes to filling prescriptions, and they're forcing more and more patients away from local pharmacies. But what are PBMs? Well, they act as administrators for insurance companies for prescription drug companies. They're supposed to help negotiate for lower drug prices. Now, as part of that job, they also determine which rebates pharmacies will receive certain medications. There are many PBMs, but there are 3 companies that control a majority of the market. Caremark RX, Express Scripts, and Optum RX are all facing backlash from locally owned pharmacies and the Federal Trade Commission for what they consider anti-competitive practices. KOAM's Samantha Walker has the story.
I had a patient in the other day where she'd been coming to me for 50 years and she was being forced to leave and left here actually crying. It hurt me.
Pharmacist Brian Caswell is hoping to raise awareness about the actions of pharmacy benefit managers, known as PBMs.
Exploiting their influence across the board to where it's impacting patients' health and small businesses like ourselves.
Pharmacists say that while PBMs were originally independent from pharmacies and insurance companies, that's no longer the case. They say it's causing problems.
They started realizing they could make money off of not only the individuals that hired them to do it, but also the drug manufacturers, the pharmacies, the patients. And suddenly they're bringing in money from all around, and their profits have skyrocketed.
Major PBM companies now also own insurance companies and pharmacies. It's become a vertically integrated healthcare market, which local pharmacists say hurts pharmacies and patients while putting record high profits in PBM pockets.
Now they're self-referring. So now they're paying me, CVS Caremark pays me a claim, but oh, guess what? I'm competing with CVS Caremark on the retail side.
Pharmacists say the contracts they are offered are so low on most medications. In many cases, they're losing money when filling prescriptions. Patients' insurance companies will only allow them to get certain medications or go to certain pharmacies, most of which are supported or owned by one of those PBM companies. It's something the Federal Trade Commission is calling a conflict of interest. In a 2024 report, the FTC found that PBM, quote, significantly influence what drugs are available and at what price.
I used to be able to buy insulin for $10 a vial. Insulin got up to $600 a month. And the only reason it got up to $600 a month is the PBMs created formularies and they wanted rebates.
Originally, the role of a PBM was to help streamline the process for pharmacists and patients, all while negotiating for lower drug prices. But as now 3 major companies control roughly 80% of the market, pharmacists say they're now doing the exact opposite.
If you can't go to the pharmacy of your choice, you may have to drive 20, 30, maybe 100 miles to get to the next pharmacy that's under contract for that medication or for that contract itself.
The FTC has filed a complaint against the 3 largest PBM companies for engaging in anti-competitive and unfair rebating practices that have inflated the list price of insulin drugs. There's proposed legislation in each of the 4 states that would help regulate PBMs. For example, in Arkansas, there's a proposal that a PBM wouldn't be able to operate a pharmacy in the state. Pharmacy owners say it's important people speak up.
You don't have to be a pharmacist or a medical provider to learn more about what's going on.
At the end of the day, pharmacists say they just want a fair playing field.
I want an opportunity for fair competition, and I don't think anybody in this country would argue that that's not what every business person wants.
Reporting across the 4 states, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
On February 5th, hundreds of Kansas pharmacy workers will close shop to speak to state leaders in Topeka. More than 100 pharmacies in 56 counties will participate, hoping to encourage action against BPM practices in the state. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If carrots are vegetables and vegetables are good for us, then the carrot cake we're making today must be good for us too, right?
Right.
Right. Hey, I figured it.
And we've got the spring-like temperatures continuing through today. A little cooler tomorrow, rain on the way. We'll go over all of that with you when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we had a fairly mild start for most of us this morning, save a couple of exceptions. Sedan, for example, started out pretty chilly, low 40s compared to everyone else. But we've got a beautiful day ahead of us, and then it's going to get chilly for all of us as we head into our Tuesday. Let's start with that look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. From earlier this morning, again, we had a few clouds to start the day. Those have since gone away, leaving us with just sunny skies across the area. And as we go through the rest of the afternoon, so we have a cold front. It was a stationary front earlier. It will start sweeping through as we continue to push through the afternoon. So it hasn't really moved much, but it will begin to swing off to the south as we go through the afternoon hours. So what will happen is, of course, ahead of it, we've got those gusty south winds. Behind it, well, those gusty northwest winds. But the good news is yeah, it's going to get chilly, but our temperatures won't plummet. And I know we all have seen that happen here in the 4 states, especially in this time of year when we get these weird 70-degree temperatures out there, and then we get a cold front. We get like a 40-degree drop in temperatures in just a couple of hours. Not going to be the case with this boundary, but it will get colder out there as we go through the overnight hours. So those winds continue to shift on us. They start out of the northwest, and then overnight they switch out of the northeast, and after midnight, clouds move in very quickly. We're looking at mostly cloudy, if not just cloudy skies overnight, and those temperatures do eventually drop into the 30s and 40s as we start Tuesday, and they will not move that much as we go through our day on Tuesday. So it'll still be a bit chilly. Most of us looking at the low to mid 50s for Tuesday. Some of our southern counties, as you see, could be a little bit warmer, and we'll have an opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers throughout the day on Tuesday. And we get into Wednesday, and so temperatures don't fall back much Tuesday night into Wednesday. So we start Wednesday morning, a little milder for some, and then we'll have more rain chances. They're still going to be scattered throughout the day on Wednesday, but there will be a few more of these showers as we head through the day and into the afternoon hours, and will also be warmer. As the system continues to, there's a low pressure, as it continues to track off to the east, we get southerly winds in and much warmer temperatures. So after a chilly day tomorrow, we'll go back to above normal, well above normal, for our Wednesday with those rain chances. And we'll stay fairly mild even into the late evening hours as we go into overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Then Thursday will be a little cooler as well. So today, though, sunny skies, upper 60s, low 70s for those highs, and of course those winds eventually out of the northwest. As we go overnight tonight, clouds increase after midnight, temperatures decreasing, about 40 for the low, and northeast winds gusting to 20. Heading into Tuesday, and now it'll be east winds gusting upwards of 20, hence the low pressure. As it comes through, those winds will rotate around with it, and that's why we'll get warmer as we go into Thursday, because the low pressure continues to move and those winds will continue to shift on us. And we're looking on average low to mid 50s, some of us a little cooler, some of us a little warmer, and of course those isolated showers out there. Then by Wednesday, more showers but warmer as that system continues to truck off to the east. A little cooler Thursday, a little warmer Friday and Saturday. We're looking at some more scattered showers Friday and Saturday. The key here is, though, between now and Saturday, just about all of us are going to be above average. It may not be by a lot, but we're still above average. Then we head into next week. Temperatures begin to drop, and we are keeping our eye on the potential for some snow by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Still pretty far out, but something we want to keep an eye on. Elise?
All right, well, stick around. We're making buttermilk carrot cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making buttermilk carrot cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Have you heard that today is National Carrot Cake Day? Believe it or not, this day was actually sanctioned by the British government after World War II as a way to encourage us to use carrots as a sweetener instead of sugar since it was so scarce. So what do you say we celebrate this day by making a carrot cake? All we do is mix together a can of crushed pineapple, some brown sugar, a few eggs, walnuts, vegetable oil, buttermilk, and lots of shredded carrots. After that's mixed, we stir in our dry ingredients, some flour, baking soda, baking powder, and a few spices. One more good mix and into a couple of cake pans it goes. You see, as it bakes, the sugars in the carrots are released, which will make our cake irresistible. As far as I'm concerned, no carrot cake is complete without a really good cream cheese frosting, like this one that we can whip up in no time. Once it's frosted, finish it off with a few chopped nuts if you want, and go to town. To get the recipe for our super moist buttermilk carrot cake, as well as our homemade cream cheese frosting, simply go online. I'm betting after one bite, your family will not only ask you to make this every National Carrot Cake Day, but anytime they're craving an amazing dessert. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. I'll see you back here tomorrow for even more. Ooh, it's so good.
You can find the recipe on KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, spring-like weather today. A little cooler tomorrow, breezy with some rain showers. More showers Wednesday, warmer. Cooler on Thursday, warmer Friday and Saturday. More rain chances out there. Back to normal Sunday. Temperatures dropping next week. And again, we are keeping an eye on some possibilities of some snow as we head into next week as well.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to enjoy today.
Yes,
great day
70
out there.
degrees.
How about
February.
that?
You bet.
All right, and Doe, here for us later on.
Lots coming up at 5. For starters, America's national bird, the bald eagle, is having a moment. In December, Joe Biden signed legislation making the raptor the country's national bird. Well, this month, New Jersey became the latest state to delist the bald eagle as endangered, citing a remarkable comeback for the creatures associated with strength and independence. We'll have more. Plus, we're going to take a look at a bond issue set to be on the April 8th ballot in Seneca. It would be for $9 million to build a new career education center and storm shelter. And seniors in Fort Scott show off their Chiefs pride ahead of Sunday's big game. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course, KOAM News at 5.
All right, thanks, Dale. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.